Some of us are lactose intolerant. We can't enjoy eggnog.
Yeah, we noticed.
Yes, no, but I'm tired of eggnog privilege. Okay, so stop throwing it in my face, Kimberly.
Yes, I'm so sorry. We make him drink eggnog in a little closet by himself.
It's disgusting.
Okay, so Dana, you're very good at gifts. You've been very smart at the whole gift
I like to figure out the perfect gift for someone, but for this particular question, wine is always good. Okay, I like to if the person is of age. But then this this year, so I went over to the feed store over in Brooklyn that Lauren Bush has, and they have all sorts of different products. They're started with bags. They now have little animals, like stuffed animals, and candles, things like that. And if you buy one of their products, it corresponds with however many meals that gift would buy for somebody else. So I kind of like that one this year.
I think that's very good.
I don't understand what you just said. What is it?
It's charitable. It's like a social good product.
So if you buy a gift, then
so basically what it is, you make a bag,
right,
and I buy it.
The store's profits go
to
charity.
You help people buy food with it.
How much profit? How much do they give away? Like 1%?
Most.
Oh, really? That's good.
All right, Greg. Don't try to slow my roll here on this Christmas Yuletide situation. Okay, Jesse, what would you do? Like for somebody, you have to get a gift, but you don't really know what to get.
I'm a big regifter.
Oh,
so if someone gives me something,
cheap table,
I will then pass that off as something I bought for them. But you have to make sure you take off the name tag and the note, because I've given gifts to people, and Merry Christmas, and it goes, Merry Christmas, Frank. And it's not that person.
How often do you do
it's happened once or twice. Also, I like wine, and here's why. No one knows how much the wine cost. So it could be like a $13 bottle of wine, but if you wrap it up in a nice little package...
No, there's an app. There's an app that you can
tell the audience that.
They may get a Jesse gift, a regifted bottle of wine.
That's true.
Exactly.
You know what the thing is?
In your office.
You haven't written a book yet. Because that's the ultimate gift.
You give?
It's just having a stack of books.
That's why I should write the book.
Yes, it's whenever I just grab a book.
In lieu of that, I'm going to do a signed headshot.
Okay. But can you ever imagine? He's the kind of guy that gives a signed headshot when it hasn't been requested. That's the best part of it, right?
Who doesn't want a signed headshot?
Geraldo used to do that, leave his autograph on airplanes and stuff for people.
Geraldo? My God.
No, really.
We have so much in common.
No, I know. It's amazing, really. Okay, this is hilarious, but okay, you answered this one, but the next one is from Kimberly G, which wasn't me, but okay.
It wasn't you?
No, look, Kimberly G is the next question, but it wasn't me that put this question in. Okay, so you're good at gifts.
That's like a coincidence.
You gave me the crown, which was excellent.
The definition of a
coincidence. Well, I mean, money is the obvious answer, I think. You just give people money. But, so, first of all...
Cash one?
Yeah.
Really?
Money.
For a gift? For somebody you don't really know?
$1.
Absolutely. I mean,
Bitcoin.
You know what I like is gift cards, but then I read in the newspaper that they don't use them.
Yeah.
So then the companies just get tons of money from people who don't use gift cards, because they end up in like your kitchen drawer, and they say, oh yeah, we got this gift card, and then sometimes it expires.
Well, but Jesse really loves gift cards from Del Frisco's. He really enjoys it.
But
keep them coming.
But if I actually have to go shopping, and that's very rare. I'll go like to a mall for fun, but I don't like to go shopping. But if I have to go shopping and I said, somebody I don't know, and I somehow have to give them a gift, which is crazy anyway. I mean, like, you know what's happened to me this Christmas?
No, what?
Being in New York all the time, and that's happened to me now a couple Christmases because I've been here. At Christmas time is I have to give the doorman money.
That's it, of course.
And you have to give the people who work in the hotel and the people at the restaurants who see you regularly. And pretty soon you're like, wow, this is expensive.
Tell me about it. My masseuse, my footman,
my
sous chef.
Oh, my God.
Not just my chef, but my sous chef.
But your footman is what I'm really concerned about.
Well, it's interesting. My footman, we go way back, but I won't get into it here. But
yes, I've seen
He knows a lot of dirty secrets about my feet.
Beginning with your feet. Sad to say, so do I, and I'll never quite be the same.
But let me finish my thought.
Oh, yes, there's more.
Well, I think in addition to money and gift cards, I always think plants. Like poinsettias, or is that how you say poinsettia?
You like one?
Yeah. You say poinsettia or poinsettia or whatever.
That's a commitment.
But if you're going by, like, they have them in the supermarket these days.
Yes, they do.
They have them on set. You could grab one and then give it to one of your people that you don't know that well. They're
Wow,
right
you
there
might
in
be the
front of
cheapest
the.
one at the
I didn't think of that.
I'm cheap. Juan says he's complaining because he has to tip his doorman.
No, I'm saying, you know how much money eventually, because through the, not only there, it's not one doorman. They're like,
All the
Oh, well,
doormen.
well,
You know what
Yeah,
you should
you
know?
Bill.
You have a great idea about gift cards. They should be useful. Like a gift card that's like $100 for toilet paper. You're going to use that. You're going to have it in your wallet.
Why does
When
it always
no,
go back to toilet?
Well, because it's useful.
You could make it for Amazon, and you can actually buy it.
Then you
in bulk
forget about it.
there.
You
I
never
don't
forget about TP.
Okay, let's moving on to the rest of my awesome questions. From Kimberly G. Do you have a childhood family Christmas tradition that you've carried into your adult life? If you have, what is it? Tell us now, Dana.
Well, I guess it's attending Christmas Eve service. I always like that, like the candlelight one, except for I like to go at 7 p.m.
Oh. Get
Yeah.
to bed by 8, huh?
Yeah. Then that means I'll wake up sooner and like, get it over with. Not over with. Santa will be there sooner.
Yes.
I've done the opposite. I've broken all the traditions because I was forced to go to church on Christmas. And now, because I can decide myself, because I'm a man, I don't go to church anymore on Christmas. That's the time you don't want to go to church.
Wow, that wasn't a
And
very.
then check the mom text.
Yeah, I gotta
no.
tell you something. That wasn't very.
No, it's a very crowded service, and, why not go on the other Sunday?
I think you should recall that answer. Send
no,
him back
actually,
to
I
recall.
agree with you.
Thank you, Juan. Well, if Juan agrees now, I'm actually worried about
Now
that.
you should be questioning everything.
I
No,
take it
but I
back.
mean, it's amateur hour at church.
Exactly.
It really is.
It's the C&Es, only the Christmas
no,
and
no.
Easter
I'm
people.
telling
Who
you.
I agree.
disparages the Lord in this way?
It's not disparaging. I'm telling you, I go to church every Sunday, so it's not a matter. I'm just telling you, for that service, it's like packed, and
It's like the most special day besides Easter.
I think Easter is the high
Okay, well, all right.
Christian
So
holiday.
let's
But
see.
anyway, I think so. There are two things that
more.
happen. One is ornaments on the tree. That my parents and Delisa's, my wife's parents, both handed down ornaments, and we have now handed down ornaments. Like my son Rafi, he just got a house and he has a bay window with a tree, and he has now ornaments that came from us.
All right, let's do a couple of these quicker, shall we? From Susan W. What is your favorite Christmas carol, Greg? Fast.
Wait, I hate Christmas carols, as you know.
Passing from Greg going.
But wait,
to
you didn't ask me about my tradition.
Tradition.
My tradition is I go around the neighborhood and I see who has the most Christmas lights, and I steal their ladders.
That's actually pretty funny and devious.
You can carry a ladder all by yourself?
Yes, I can.
For you.
Dana, Christmas carol.
My favorite Christmas carol.
Carol Channing.
I like
Carol Brady.
I think Walking in a Winter Wonderland is a good one. I get that stuck in my head a lot.
Okay, that's a good one. I like it too.
What about Hark, Hark, the Angels Sing? Is that one?
The Herald.
The Herald Angel. That's what I said.
Gosh, you really,
Harold.
you're like
does it have to be
Christmas.
Harold?
Jesse's like Christmas fail.
No.
Okay, Greg, do you have a Christmas carol?
I think we already came to me. I would
No,
say
'cause
I
you
would take,
didn't answer. You
I would
have to
take
answer
Carol
the
Brady from the Brady
tradition.
Bunch.
Oh, very
Fine.
good.
Juan, one answer.
Well, but I don't think there's much question. I'll be home for Christmas.
Oh, fantastic.
I like that one.
Holy
By the
night.
way,
Let's go
can
home.
I knew it.
Can I
Okay.
tell you something?
Yeah.
So my daughter got a new car this year.
What?
What?
Is this a joke?
No, she got a new car.
For
and so-
Christmas?
no.
Wait, so your son gets a house, your daughter gets a car. Trump economy's doing great.
Jesse!
Oh, yes.
Woo!
Way to go. So
My
the
God.
license tag reads Hark. And I said, why is that your vanity plate say Hark? Because her last name is Harold.
Oh, very cute.
Oh my gosh, that's very cute.
Mine's H2OS.
Okay, Jesse.
Get it?
Jesse.
Waters.
There you go.
Jesse, focus.
You don't have a
From
personalized
Kendra.
license plate. If you do, that's so Waters.
Why is that
Am I that
something
guy?
that surprises
Are you?
No, I don't have it. Because then they
Totally.
can track what car you're in, and I want to keep a low profile.
Everything about you screams low profile. From Kendra A. Jesse, you'll love this question.
Okay.
It involves your very special relationship. If you could give the president a gift, what would it be?
Signed headshot. Already did it. Already did it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Dana.
Jasper Calendar.
Oh my God, a good one. Get Greg,
Good
probably
way
your
to
books.
keep track of the days.
Obviously, I'd give him a map of Kenya.
Oh, jeez. Juan. Quick, go
Which
ahead.
president?
Juan.
Did you mean Trump?
Yes. It's a joke because remember he used
It's
to.
about Obama.
Yes.
He would give it
But
to.
why is that? Why
No, he would give it to President Obama. He would give it to Hillary Clinton if she was president, and also Trump. I think so.
And a case of Diet Coke.
Yeah, apparently he
That's
would
useful.
love that.
What
I
would
love
you give
Diet
him,
Coke.
Juan?
Finish it.
It'll last 2 days.
I would give him a lump of coal.
To make up for
You know
your
why?
life.
Because he's making coal great
There
again.
it is. See? You guys all took it as a
Now
negative.
coal is so much cheaper now. You
Yes.
give him 2 lumps.
2 lumps. It's, you know what? and I put it in his coffee for him.
Okay.
He likes it black.
North Korea sounding off after a fresh round of sanctions from the UN Security Council in response to its missile launch late last month. The new sanctions limiting Pyongyang's access to oil and forcing North Korean workers in other countries to return home. The rogue regime calling the sanctions a, quote, act of war and threatening to retaliate against nations who supported them. Joining now is Kieran Skinner, professor of international relations at Carnegie Mellon University, a research fellow at Hoover Institution, and a Fox News foreign policy analyst. Nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. You know, North Korea seems to call everything an act of war. Every single time we do joint military exercises with South Korea, North Korea calls it an act of war. So, you know, why does Kim Jong-un do this, and at what point are we going to take it seriously?
Well, the newest sanctions are so dauntingly punitive that I think there's nothing else for the North Korean leader to say. Not only are they punitive, but they are unanimous, with much of the world behind the U.S.-led sanctions resolution. And that further isolates the regime. And it will hurt its economy and the ability of the leadership to continue to develop its nuclear and ballistic missile program. So his rhetoric doesn't compare to the reality of what the world has just done.
You know, North Korea also has vowed that every country that voted in favor of the resolution would face retaliation from North Korea. So presumably that would mean Russia and China. What do you make of that?
North Korea is out of options in terms of retaliation because it attempts to play nuclear blackmail. The problem with using that type of lack of diplomacy, if you will, is that you have no other options below. So what can it do to the world but threaten some type of nuclear maneuver that would immediately hurt the Chinese, of which it is attached to territorially. So I think it's just really rhetoric and desperation.
Well, how do you think these sanctions will actually be implemented? Because in the past, the problem is the sanctions haven't been implemented as they were supposed to be by the countries involved.
The fact that we've had numerous now unanimous sanctions resolutions and that the United States is continuing to pressure the great powers that have signed on to the sanctions resolutions like the Chinese and Russians, and given that the fact that the Chinese and Russians are part of the sanctions resolutions, they are the only allies of North Korea, I think speaks to the capacity to get a much more universal compliance with them. But also they hit so many sectors all at the same time that I think their effectiveness will be much superior to ones in the past. Textiles, for example, are now banned. The importing of North Korean textiles. The North Korean workers, more than 90,000, are being recalled home from abroad within 2 years, and they've accounted for additional hard currency for the country. You just go down the list, and I think these sanctions really will work.
That's true, and yet today the AP is reporting that U.S. officials say that, you know, when North Korean coal exports were forbidden, shiploads would basically be channeled through Russia. Sometimes goods and products would be switched from ship to ship out at sea in order to avoid sanctions being implemented.
Yes, there's more ship-to-ship compliance, I think, in the newest round of sanctions because there are ways to check for compliance that didn't exist in the past. But also, the Russians and Chinese simply have much more skin in the game this time because North Korea is so out of control with the development of its nuclear program against prior UN resolutions that the Chinese and North Koreans, the Chinese and the Russians, have really taken notice. They don't want an all-out war. It will be devastating for them in addition to the rest of the world.
Well, I should mention that China actually has a defense agreement with North Korea, so it's sort of to be determined what would happen if North Korea were to get into a military action with another country, including the U.S. But I want to bring this up. You know, there's a thought that Kim Jong-un is absolutely unwilling to give up his nuclear program, that he essentially ties that to his own life and to his own staying in power, that he believes that Colonel Gaddafi would still be in place, that Hussein would still be alive if they had nuclear weapons. What do you say to that ideology, that he simply isn't going to give up his nuclear weapons program?
Yes, he's created this dangerous scenario where his regime survival and his own personal survival is tied to his nuclear program. This is an odd type of nuclear deterrence. The problem is that he's got to be able to continually convince the elites in his own country that the whole country's survival is tied to his survival, which is tied to the nuclear program. If there's any break away from him among elites, those in the military, those in China that he depends on, I think then he's taken a risky gambit, and it may not work.
All right, well, we shall see. Kyron Skinner, thank you for your insight today.
Thank you.
President Trump capping off a months-long effort to pass tax reform after signing the GOP tax bill last week. Now Americans are waiting to see how the new tax code will affect them and what they can do now before the law changes for the 2018 year. Gene Marks is a CPA, small business advocate, and a business columnist for the Washington Examiner and Forbes magazine. Nice to see you. So here we are.
Thanks for having me on.
Here we are at the end of the year when a lot of folks make some final charitable contributions. What should folks be watching for and doing in these final days of 2017 following the passage of tax reform?
You got it. Let's get right to the point, even though it is Christmas Eve, and I'm sure people